So we have here the NCAA women's basketball scores for Monday, January 13th, 2024. So I did a little whip around and I'm going to talk to you about the scores here. So we had Prairie View A&M beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 68-61 in a SWAT contest. It was I think it was a rescheduled game? Or are they just playing a SWAT game on Monday? Because usually the SWAT women do Thursdays and Saturdays. But they do have a Tuesday afternoon one. Could be the rescheduled one due to the weather. But usually they do Thursdays and Saturdays. But they sometimes do Saturdays and Mondays. They used to a lot of times. But not as often do they for the women do that. And not every Monday do they do MEAC either, because they only do 14 games in the regular season for MEAC conference. So, because they only play each team twice, and they're not going to do more than twice, So, they do a lot of non-conference, these teams do. And then we have Loyola Maryland beats American 77-30. That was a CSPR tournament. Men's and women's doubleheader game. They did the women's game. American was 0-15. Loyola Maryland was 6-9. And 7-9. Loyola Maryland now goes to get their first win in conference in Patriot League. Then American, with Loyola Maryland having a bunch of their key leaders out, they're gaining some confidence back into them. No matter who you play, you want to gain confidence in there now. Norfolk State beats Morgan State 77-69. NC Central 76-71 over Delaware State, and Howard 76-71 over Coppin State. Maryland Eastern Shore 63-55 over South Carolina State. Grambling 70-64 over Florida A&M. And number 5 LSU survives over Vanderbilt in the SEC Monday Night Showcase game on the SEC number 83-77. And then we'll talk about some games tomorrow. So we have one huge contest between two ranked teams. We have Minnesota, who is number 24 in the AP poll. They are gone. They're hot. They've gotten their first time in the AP poll in a while. Minnesota has. It has been huge for Minnesota to be ranked. Like the 16-1 start, their best start. It's like their best start in program history, and really solid team. Minnesota, number 24 ranked. Minnesota is really solid team, and they're leading, and they're taking on number 8 Maryland, 15-1. This should be a good contest for those two teams, and especially Minnesota has two key. Has no Marbron, no Taylor Woodson, I believe. They have. So they have two key players out for Minnesota. Little Rock taking on Southeast Missouri and ESPN Plus. All of them are on ESPN Plus except for the Big East game on Flow Sports. That's at 6 Eastern. The OBC game Tuesday nights. Usually there's one OBC game on Tuesday nights. That's the featured one. We have featured American Conference game. It will be in South Florida. 11-6, 11-7, 2 evenly matched teams in the American. UAB is 2-3 in the American Athletic Conference, while South Florida is 4-1 in conference. Georgetown is 500. They're trying to stay above 500 if they win at Butler. They are not the best teams in the Big East, but they're trying to. Georgetown is trying to stay above 500 though, and Well, if they beat Butler. TCU at 17-1, taking on E78 UCF. UCF is not in the best tier of the Big 12. I mean, they are in their second year ever in Big 12. They are moved up from American Conference, so it's kind of hard, when you're in the bottom tier of the Big 12 power conferences. You kind of get those players that are, like high mid-major players, Still kind of hard, but they're working on it, 7 and 8, especially when, if they weren't super, super talented beforehand. Or some of them might want to go to mid-major, have more success at mid-major, who knows. But, and then you got Texas Tech and LSU, two teams that are kind of in that, bottom tier of the Big 12. I mean, Iowa State's in the middle, mid-pack, I would say, but they're not like. I mean, they might make the NCAA tournament, but I could also see them making the WBIT or the WBI, the second tier tournament the women have. They used to have, I think, was like the WBI or something, and then it was 8-team tournament where you had the best, where you had all three played 3 days, and that was the third tier tournament. Teams who didn't make the WNIT. And the WNIT was for like the mid majors and stuff that didn't win conference tournaments. You had like automatic bids. And you've seen a lot more of them in there. That's still what it is. You still get a lot of mid majors. But I mean you do get some mid majors in the WBIT, but some power conferences as well. But you do get a few power conferences in the WNIT because one from each conference has to go. But you're gonna see a lot of mid majors in WNIT, which is fine. That's how it is even on the men's side. There's a lot of mid-majors, more mid-major based, but kind of what it should be, Get the mid-majors, they're shine too. Then you have number 23 Utah at Baylor. Baylor is on the cusp kind of being ranked, though. If they can beat Utah, I can see them being ranked, I mean, they did lose to Oregon, however. In Oregon, I mean, Oregon's not bad though, 12-5, but I mean, Indiana is kind of on the cusp of being ranked, aren't they? I mean, maybe they're 12-4, so they're being ranked, but I mean, I don't see them either. But Baylor, I mean, they can beat. I mean, they did get blown up by Oklahoma State though, and they're barely ranked, so I don't know. But they should get them votes at least if they're not receiving votes. This number 23 Baylor. We have at said Eastern Plus, and then you got number 24 Oklahoma State took on Houston, and now that is a game where just Oklahoma State should dominate Houston. Houston is the bottom tier of the Big 12, really bottom tier. Like they lost to UT Urbana. They lost to Rice on the road. They almost lost to Houston Christian. Lost to North Texas at home. Lost to Pacific. They lost to a lot of mid-majors. They're right. Ian 6 mid-major. They almost lost to Southeastern really has a better mid-major, but I'm surprised they pulled that one out. They lost to 9-8 UT Rio Grande. They almost lost to Houston Christian, who is 4-11 on the season, so it's like, North Texas is. They're 5-1. They're better. They're 12-5, so they're better mid-major. But Pacific was 4-4. Now they're 7-10. And I don't think they're not doing that great in their conference. I mean, they're 3-4, so they're doing in the middle of the pack, but so yeah. So, but we'll see. So that's it for right now. For Tuesday. Then for Wednesday, we just have a few kids' days. Navy Colgate, Army Lafayette, LaSalle UMass, Cleveland State Armors, DePaul Villanova. But Then there's in Northwestern USC. Northwestern canceled both their games due to the fight or postponed them due to the fighters in USC. It's still safe to play, but Northwestern having a months of caution. Then you got a bunch of other games like Dane Duquesne going on between two teams. Marshall or James Madison, excuse me, trying to stay at the top of the Sun basics, you know. You got ranked teams in action. Number 20, West Virginia against Carl. And number 22, Michigan State over Rutgers. You have UTSA at 14-2, one of the tops in the American Athletic. UTSA is. They're the only unbeaten in conference, but they only lost to Texas A&M and Stanford, and they were close losses to both. So they're really good mid-major. You'll see them in action. Against Memphis. And then there's an FS1 featured game. Seen Hallmark Kettle, the Big East. They have women's basketball featured games, especially on. Now they are more in, especially when they own, unlike FS1, they don't have rights to many conferences. They only have rights to like the Big East, Big 12, and then they have rights to the Mountain West. They share the rights with CBS and CBS Sports Network, and like Fox FS1, which is the same networks, but they have the rights to Big East, as well. They share the Big East rights with CBS Sports Network and CBS essentially. CBS either on the main network or CBS Sports Network. They share the rights with them, and they share the rights with FS1 and Fox essentially. And then they also have Big 12 rights, but they share them with CBS and ESPN. And then CBS. I know they share the Big 10 rights with NBC and Peacock. They do. They share the rights with them. With some games NBC, some games on Peacock. And I know there's Big 10 on CBS. They have the rights in CBS. I'm sure it's like there's CBS Sports Network. They have rights to Big 10 as well. But with CBS having rights to like Big 12 basketball more, they take more advantage of Big 12, I believe, though. And then like Mountain West, and they share Mountain West with like CBS as well, so it's kind of been a lot of share opportunities. So, yeah, you have some big games right there. And those are like the big televised games. So that was it for that NCAA women's basketball update here. I am going to be doing a little bit of a whip around after UCFTC, after Minnesota Maryland is done. We'll try to whip around on like the 4 games on right now on UCFTCU, which will probably be in like late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Probably, or maybe it could be mid third quarter, but still, it's in that third, fourth quarter range. Seeing Texas Tech, Iowa State, Utah, Baylor, probably in that second quarter, halftime area. And same with Oklahoma State, Houston. Very late second quarter, third quarter, so we'll do a little bit of whip around on 7:30 Eastern games as well as the Easterns, just a tad. I don't know how much I may be able to watch because I do want to watch Minnesota Maryland in full, so because I'm a Minnesota Gophers fan, But I will do some whip around on Wednesdays Wednesday nights I do have the to work Wednesday nights when whip around is on. So these kind of flex dates either. So maybe the whip around as often, so I'm gonna do that. But if I can, I'll do a little bit of it. If I can. But there's not a lot of it nightly. But I'll try to I might be able to do it just a tad of it. But we'll see.